Hey everybody, welcome to the DBS Films Podcast. My name is Kellen. With me as always is my brother Brennan. Together we make movies with DBS Films. Today's update in the episode is all about an update for Q3. That is right, my friends. We only have 3 more months now. Really two, honestly, because we're already through October. But where are we at DBS? What are we looking for this quarter? What are we looking for next year? That's going to be the topics of this episode. Be sure to take a look at Horror in the Force online, because if you give us a rent and review, it means the world to us. It allows us to hit these goals, allows us to keep making movies for our fans, with our fans. And if you want to be part of these movies in the action, well, my friends, all you have to do is join our Discord community. That is the place to be. So as we kind of talked about in the first episode is how we are doing, and now we're going to hop into what we want to do. So let's kind of take a look at the production stuff right away, and then we'll go bigger picture. Big one, Haunted the Murder House, 4 movies in a year. That is amazing production. And also we want to get Cold Grave, which again, you've probably had feedback on. And the goal is to get Bigfoot out the door to distribution by the end of the year. I think let's take a little bit of time to just kind of highlight again, this is amazing for indie film. This is amazing for Hollywood film. I would love to know if there's other production teams out there doing what we're doing on this scale. Because again, at this level, what we're doing, we've really created a beast of a process. And I think it does come from the business background versus the filmmaking background. Because again, most filmmakers, you tell them I made this movie in 2 years and they're shocked. So how are you kind of feeling again about the production, and what does this mean setting us up for 2024 if we can hit these milestones?
No, it's massive, and I'm super proud of the I'm gonna say 4 movies that we've gotten done. Because I feel pretty confident that we're gonna get the Haunting the Murder House done. A lot of people said we couldn't do 4, and we got 4 done. And a lot of people also said, why are you making 4 movies? The quality is going to be bad for all your movies. You're going to see quality diminish. And if you're going to watch all 4 of these movies, each one gets exponentially better, which comes, I think one of the problems I have with filmmakers is they say, I need to spend all my resources and all my money and all my time on one movie. They think their first movie is going to be the greatest. They think the first movie is going to be the best. And that idea, that philosophy, that understanding of things, it just doesn't make any sense to me, because making movies is a skill. You get better with each one that you make. You get exponentially better. You don't just basically pick up a guitar and say, I'm going to just sit here and practice for one song, and I'm going to write the first song that I'm going to write is going to be the best one. I don't know why people think that applies to movies. I don't know why people think that the more movies you make, the less quality you're going to have. That whole thing doesn't make any sense at all to me. From everything I've seen from filmmakers that are consistently doing this on the indie level, each movie they make it gets better. I see it with my own stuff. So, only making 1 movie when you can easily make 4, go with 4, you're diversified. There is no downside to this stuff. I have seen no evidence that less time and less money, or more time and more money, equals a better product. For the most part, our movies that make the most money are the ones that we kind of throw together with the cheapest amount of budget, with the least amount of time. So, we're moving forward with this stuff, and we're getting better with each one. The model works, and I really would hope that other filmmakers would kind of embrace this, where it is a skill. You need to practice it. You need to get better. You need to take feedback, and you need to apply that to the next movie. There is no downside to this method, other than you have to work really, really hard. Yes, burnout is a thing, but for me, I feel comfortable with 4 movies. I think if we're smart and we're able to write the other 2 quickly, I think we do 6. But I haven't seen us take a step back as far as quality. And if that does happen, then yes, maybe I will stop and be like, all right, let's see what went wrong. Let's recalculate. Which is kind of what we did with Girl in Cabin 13, our after Devil in the Room. We took a step back. Now there was COVID in there, but for the most part, as long as we're moving forward with production, with our movies getting better, we're going to continue moving forward, making a lot of movies, as many movies as we possibly can.
Exactly that. And I think the cool part again is, that's really the foundation of a movie studio is your ability to make movies. And now we get to talk about the fun stuff, which is what's unique about us, and that's our community. I would say the big thing for this community this year is, I've really kind of noticed how it is dependent on a lot of the bandwidth and time that I have. My ability to go on TikTok and yell at people to join us really dictates the ebb and flow of the entire community. And with my full-time job this year, it has been incredibly difficult to find as much time as I did last year when we were kind of getting things up and running. That being said, I am incredibly thankful because if we had to do the same thing this year that I did last year, I don't know if we'd be able to do it. I don't know if we'd be able to kind of create this, but now we have such an amazing community of mods, of event teams, of points teams, of welcome teams. We're really starting to base the structure. So we're going to kind of dive into this now. And I think really the way that I look at it now, and this is kind of like any startups and, being part of some startups and different business organizations, what you start with is usually very, very different from what you end up with, whether it's the processes, the people, all of these different things that you do. Now, again, people that are helping us out with these processes will always be so much more valuable because we need it now more than ever. But as we continue to grow and scale, things will change rapidly. And what I think I'm really, really interested in is, as the movies solidify, this allows us to focus in more on the community elements because it opens up just a lot more doors. And I think the first thing, I really want to kind of highlight is this has been a year of solidifying the processes in the Discord. We have a lot of people who have been putting in so much time and effort that I'm always going to be thankful for and are really kind of establishing different things there. But the biggest benefit that we have is this community and our ability to potentially scale it. So again, what I am excited for is if I do have more time to focus in on this, we can look at scaling that amount of growth that we have, but that's not the focus for the rest of this year and going into next year. The focus is solidifying the processes we have to maximize the benefit of the community. And I think we've kind of talked about this before. There's a lot of people, whether you're supporting us through just watching our movies, sharing our posts, being active in the Discord, buying our merch, all of those things, being a supporter of ours, all of those things do add up. But the number one thing that we talk about and a big focus of ours is the launch team. And that is renting and reviewing a movie as soon as it comes out, because that is the number one KPI, key performance indicator that we have for why it makes sense for us to invest and support the Discord, because we get a tangible return every single time we make a movie. And if that number continues to increase, well, it becomes much, much, much more easy for us to take, again, the money we're generating from the cash flow of the production and see how we can leverage it with the community for a win-win-win. So what are kind of your thoughts on, again, the more we show in the community that it helps the movies, then the more the community we get to go ahead and spend and improve upon.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal for this year was really just get the production down, and I feel confident that we did that. We'll get 4 movies out. And then next year is all about, building the community and getting to 1,000 launch team members. We need 1,000 downloads on day one to really kind of push us in the direction that we want to go. And 1,000 will allow us to kind of back off and be more creative, because we don't need to necessarily, try and work with the algorithm or go down tropes or movies that, I know that Amazon's going to push. We could try different things, but we can also get more people involved. We're less restricted on what we want, because basically, if I can guarantee that, we get 1,000 people to purchase this movie, that's instant cash flow, that's instant visibility. And the visibility is so crucial on these platforms. The difference between spot 20, 15, and 10 is magnitudes of $50,000 to $100,000. It's absolutely ridiculous, but you need that visibility right away. And, my background comes from marketing, and I could push stuff with Facebook ads and a whole bunch of ads, and we could push the movies, but it takes time. It's not a quick thing. It's slow drip. And we're very good at getting, these movies stuck up in the rankings, which is great. Horror in the Forest has now been in the Amazon top 100 for the longest time they've ever had a movie. So it's been in there. It launched on August 17th and is now October 20th when I'm recording this. And it's been every single day that it's been out, it has been in the top 100 on Amazon Horror, which is great. but we really need to hit that front end visibility. And the only way we could do that is with 1,000 launch team members. And guys, like, that's really how we could take off. It's going to give us so much more revenue, so much more visibility, and that'll really be how we get the flywheel working. It's just, all right, now we got to take a step back and try and figure out, all right, how do we get, what's the most efficient way to get to 1,000 members, and then how do we reward the launch team for, you know, helping us out and doing this kind of stuff, because it's super invaluable. You know, this is what we really need. So I think right now it's kind of a blank slate. We're going to come up with a whole bunch of different ideas. We're going to try a whole bunch of different things. But really just getting to that 1,000 launch team member, those 1,000 downloads on day one will really give us a sustainable business model and allow us to do a lot of cool things moving forward next year.
Exactly that. It all adds up, my friends. And with that being said, I kind of want to talk about, the main focus again in the community side of things is, while I might be a little bit more quiet than usual, we got a lot of things going on in the background that we are looking to roll out. And I'm essentially going to call this DBS Discord 2.0. I think it has been invaluable having all of this information, all of this data, all of this different, people that have been part of this community and seeing, what kind of moves the needle. And I think there's 3 different parts that I want to highlight. So we're going to continue talking about the launch team, but the other elements are going to be, we have launch team, we have the workshops, and then we have events online and in person. So those are kind of the 3 pillars that we see ourselves improving in DBS 2.0. Expect over the next few months some videos and whatnot, and some changes and some cool things going on. But between the launch team, the admin team, so that's another one that I want to talk about, is we're going to be rolling out the admin team, and the events and workshops. So those 3 pillars there, that's really where I see us, we got a good system, but how do we make the system so that it rewards people more, because it's rewarding our studio, and thus we get to pass along those gains. I always see you guys are giving us the opportunity to make our dreams come true. It's only fair for us to provide the opportunity to make your dreams come true. So number one thing, launch team, as we mentioned, 1,000. One of the first big changes you're going to see for the cold grave is, if you do not support us in a launch team, at least one, you have to support at least one launch team, you will no longer be considered a super fan. And as much as I love you being part of the community and doing all of these things and being active and all this stuff, when push comes to shove, being a super fan of ours, the number one thing you can do is support our movie when it comes out and review it. So we are going to push a focus on that. And again, this to me highlights, the way that you can go ahead and think about this. And here's another thing I will say: collecting those badges in the future, when we have the cash flow, when we have the success, when we have the notoriety and things are humming, do you know who we're going to reward the most? The people with the most badges. Easy. That's why I love Discord. Discord lets me track everything. I love it, because the people that are putting in the effort now, the people that are supporting us now, and if you open up that little sleeve of yours and you got all those badges, you are going to be rewarded, my friend, in multiple ways, because it makes sense to us. And we're going to continue to push that methodology. And we're going to figure out what works the most. But you really want to kind of talk about how, again, this is the number one thing. Like, this is, if there is a way to help us, I love all the TikTok gifts. I love you doing the subscriptions, because again, that does allow us to get more roles out there. But this is the number one thing. If you want us to succeed, it's the launch team.
Yeah, it's by far the best thing you can do for us. The value on the purchase, the rental, comes back to us a ton, because we're getting more visibility, which means more members, which means more revenue, which means more visibility for all the Discord members who are in our movie, all the actors that are in our movie. There's just exponential gains on every one of these purchases. And it's only for, and I don't know what the Cold Grave launch is, because we're still working in distribution, but the last one was only $1.99. So it's for $2. Your $2 goes so far. That's all we ask is a purchase. That's it, and that's the best way to reward us. And, Kel's doing all this for, no money. He's doing it for time. And, he's investing all this stuff in the community. And, we bought a ton of merchandise that we give out, and we give out a lot of DVDs, and we do a lot of stuff. The way to just show that you appreciate this stuff is the $2 purchase. That's it. We are a movie studio. We want to cultivate people that like our movies and that are here to watch our stuff. So, I mean, that's the best way to do it. If you're going to try and do anything else, just focus on that one first, because, getting that DBS army to 1,000 strong will really allow us to do so much cool stuff. We'll really be able to do a lot more stuff. We'll be able to reward stuff, basically giveaways and a whole bunch of other stuff, in-person events. All this stuff becomes easier when we have that extra revenue, the extra visibility, the extra people coming on board. But it all starts with 1,000, and each one's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a grind, but I think we're both committed to do whatever it takes to find that one person that'll do it. And then we'll find another and another and another. And then once you get to that 1,000, I think the ball starts to roll down the hill a little bit easier, but I'll do whatever it takes to find the one person who, wants to become a super fan for DBS.
Exactly that. And here's what I will say. Obviously I do it for the pure ego boost of being in charge of the Discord community. So I'm always happy to do so. But time is limited. And with the limited time and resources that we have, who are we going to show that on? We're going to show it on the people that support us. And, again, if you support us with the launch team, that is the quickest way. I can click into your profile, see that badge, and be like, yes, you're about it. If you don't support us, well, realistically, you're just kind of mooching on the community, which is totally fine. I love people that kind of come in there, have friends, talk about it and everything there. But again, these movies are going to be $2 most likely, for the first rental. And if you can't spare $2, again, I'm not like going to ban people or kick people out or anything. We're just going to recognize the people that are giving us the support, because that $2 turns into 20, turns into 200, turns into 2,000, turns into 20,000 based on how many people we continue to get with that. So that's going to be a little bit of the mindset shift. On top of that, we also going to be looking at scaling out our admin team. So right now, if you're unfamiliar, really the way that it goes is you find yourself in our community, you want to be more active. Well, you can join one of the server teams, which is the event team, welcome team, or the points team. Then after you spend some time on one of those teams, you can become a mod. And now mods will be eligible. We're starting a prototype in the background. You probably won't see much for a little bit. We're creating a prototype program for the admins. And the cool part with the admins is we will be looking to compensate your time in the server. Now, again, all things scale in life. And as we've mentioned before, both me and Brendan are not getting paid a single cent. In fact, it usually costs us money when it comes to these movies, but we love doing it and we love growing it. And the compensation will start very little at first, maybe $5 here, $10, $20. But the idea is scalability, because again, if we're able to utilize this admin team to assist us in hosting all of these events that we're doing, creating different ways to make the Discord more appealing, streaming more, just making the community better for everyone so that it maximizes our launch team, well, then it's a no-brainer and it scales from there. So do you want to kind of talk about how what I love the most about this model is it is a win-win. I know if we get admins out there that are very hungry with the growth, that are very hungry in the sense of developing and helping assist this community with us, they will find a place in our community, in our organization, in our business as we continue to scale and grow. This is startup mode. And again, the people that are here now are the people that get rewarded the most in the startup. You don't want to be part of the startup when you got your third and fourth and fifth round of funding. You want to be there in the trenches in now. And again, the admin team and the mods and the server team are going to be the ones that are directly rewarding us. And if we can just take that focus with the admin team, shine the light on the launch team, that's when we really start getting a lot of success. So you really just kind of want to talk about how with that mindset, nothing makes us happier than to provide opportunities for people to do what they love. And ideally, as we continue to grow, compensate them for it so that they can spend more time doing it.
Yeah, it goes back to the flywheel, is that now we have the production side done. It's just building this community, and we will do whatever it takes. Like Kel said, I pretty much put money into these movies and I don't see a dime back. And any money that comes in, we put right back into the movies. It'd be the same thing with the community. It's just, how can we reward the members, whether that's in-person events, whether it's bringing on more actors, whether it's, doing community giveaways, whether it's more merch, whatever you guys need, we're here to provide. And, some people in the Discord and the community want to be actors, and that's fine. We'll bring you on set. We'll fly more actors out. We've scaled up from 8 to basically, Kel said 63 this year. That's absolutely incredible. If you want to do in-person events like Halloween Horror Nights or some other stuff, we can make that happen as well, as long as there's revenue there. It's very easy to go to Vegas and basically get a section of a hotel and reward our fans that way. So maybe if you don't want to be an actor, but you just want to be part of a community, a horror inspired community, we can make that happen as well. Or if you just want cool merch and just be a fan, or, this is where theatrical movies start to come in play. But like, once again, we just need these numbers to come up, and all that stuff goes right back into it. And I think the starting is going to be difficult because once again, we're going to have the same cash flow issues that we have with the movie side, but it'll be easier because we have products to move. We have a great community support already. We have a good foundation. Now it's just, how can we get more members involved? How can we keep members involved and just make sure that everyone, feels rewarded and compensated for what they're doing for us? Because, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you guys enough. And we just want to be able to, we have something really cool here as far as our movies and our community. And I think the goal should be just to share with other people, because there's horror fans everywhere. We just had a huge convention, and there's people who want to be involved in this, but they just don't know it exists yet. And I think that's kind of the goal, is just kind of spread the message, kind of figure out, how we can reach these people and just kind of bring them in and show them and get them involved in the cool stuff that we're doing here at DBS.
Exactly that. And I mean, I really do think, again, my favorite part about this is usually you're kind of almost at odds with your like the customer or end consumer or whatnot when it comes to any business out there. What's so cool about our model is it supports the people that support us, and I love that. So that's something really cool for it. The last thing that we want to kind of discuss about is the workshops. We've had one series of workshops. We are going to go ahead and delay them until after we are done filming, and then we're also getting the admin team up and running and kind of getting a few things organized for it. But I just kind of want to highlight how most likely the shift in our production is going to be doing the workshops will be the fast track to being on set with us for multiple reasons. And I kind of wanted to hop into that, why this mindset. We do have the audition process as we have now. And again, it's just kind of like, hey, here are the roles for that. And I think any issue that we always kind of run into with auditions is it's usually based on the character and if we think you're a good fit for it. And then it goes from there. It usually is not really determined purely by the acting. It's a combination of that fit or whatnot. And it becomes very, very tricky when you have thousands and thousands of auditions and limited numbers of characters. What we are looking to do instead is start to develop these workshops. The workshops are online. I would take a look at, feel free to go ahead and take a look at them on our YouTube. This is kind of how they are, but they're going to be for acting, screenwriting, filmmaking, and special effects. And Tegan's going to be hosting the makeup and special effects one because I have no capabilities in that. We'll probably get some extra people to help out with the acting ones, but here's the core concept of it. It's going to go up and develop into two things, in my opinion. One, right away, fast track for us. If you're able to go ahead and do the assignments in the workshops, and these assignments in the workshops, again, take a look at them. They're not really taking that much time, but it gives me the chance to work with you, provide you feedback, and then to see how you work with feedback. Essentially, it is a trial run for being on set. Every time we have someone who does really good pre-production, surprise, surprise, they're great to work with on set. So if you can show us that level of engagement when it comes to doing the workshops, you will then be fast-tracked to the list of us working with you. Benefit of that, we now have someone that we know is good at whatever we're looking for them to do, and we can essentially tailor that role or tailor what they're doing to what we think that they're doing best at. So that gives us the opportunity to work with someone like that. Now, you just kind of want to talk about, again, how the people that this allows us to test how hardworking you will be. Because a lot of people are passionate. A lot of people say, hey, we'll do anything. I get so many comments on social media. Please put me in this. Like, you need to cast me. This is my dream. And then it's like, oh, join our Discord. And like, ooh, clicking 2 buttons, that's way too hard. So this really will allow the cream of the crop to rise, in our opinion, because in our opinion, if you do the workshops, which are teaching you what we're looking for, and you show us the hard work, it makes sense for us to work with you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at the model now where it's like, all right, we're bringing in the people who have the best auditions, who are, loyal to the Discord. We bring them on and we give them a small role. Well, why do we give them that small role? Is we want to see, are they able to come on set? Are they able to work with myself, my team? And, can they get this done? There's a lot of work that's involved in making a movie. And a lot of people just don't understand this. They think that, someone's just going to come and they're going to have the right fit and they're going to be the right actress. And they're going to have the right look and they're going to become a movie star. And it's completely the opposite of that. The best actors that we work with are the ones who work the hardest. They do the most in pre-production. They do the most on set. And, those are the ones we want to work with. So, working with the workshops will allow us to, number one, start to teach you the language of DBS. We have a very unique set of language, a way we work, because we work so quickly, we work so fast. If you're more comfortable with that idea, if you understand how we do pre-production, if you understand how we operate on set, it's just going to facilitate the process, and you're going to get a better performance when you come on set. But once again, it's going to just figure out who's really involved in this, who really wants to be there, who's going to come in there if they get the role and do the best pre-production, who's going to do the best, who's going to be the best on when they're actually on set, and, who's going to give us 100% of their heart. And that's like, I love casting from the Discord because at least I know they're motivated and they want to be here and they will give it their all because they understand the opportunity. With the other stuff, as far as like talent agents or backstage, there's always that risk that the person's there only for the paycheck, that they see us as a small indie film studio and they don't really want to, jive with us, or they don't like how fast we go, or, the aggressive stuff that we do. That's always a risk, and we can never have an actor just walk off set. If that happens, then we don't get a movie, and then we're in the hole, and a lot of bad things start to happen. So for me to bring on someone who I know has done the workshops, who I know their heart is in there, basically it just alleviates my risk and it makes me feel more comfortable, and we're going to get a better product with that because I'm not going to be as stressed. It's why we always cast the same people, because I know they're not going to be a problem. We cast Benjamin, we cast Tatum, Tegan's in here, Howard's in there. We cast these people because they're not a risk. When I put together the casting list, I try and balance people who I know are going to need a little bit more time and attention and resources versus people like Dylan or, Howard, where I don't need to worry about them at all. And if you're going through the workshops, the goal is to bring on people who I don't need to worry about. We can focus on other details. Like I said before, focus on the smaller stuff, will allow us to make better movies. The only way I could do that is with more time and not having to worry about or coddle or, basically have to put in extra work with the actors, will allow us to do that. And the way we're going to do that is through workshops.
100% that. And I will say, again, the people that have, seen themselves back on the set with us, those are the people that have seized the opportunity that we provided them. And our goal is to provide as much opportunity as we can. The people that seize the opportunity will be the people that continue to get more and more opportunities. That is just how business and life works. That being said, the second thing I want to talk about with the workshops and why I'm very excited for that, one, is it going to be something that we can cultivate? But then two, I do believe it is something we can really end up monetizing as a community ourselves. And what I mean by this is if we end up charging for these workshops essentially as a film school for acting, writing, screenwriting, filmmaking, we will then be able to generate additional revenue for the Discord community, for the people who are hosting and doing these workshops, because ideally in the future, it might not be me. It might be someone who is teaching the acting, one is teaching the filmmaking, people that we've worked with, for instance, just like what Tegan's doing. Then that can be a way for them to get some additional monetization from their passions. But the biggest thing that I see is right now you're looking at film schools out there that are charging 60, 70, 80,000, 160, 200, 300K. You do your master's, and what are they getting? Some experience from a professor in a classroom. I think we have a very unique model here, my friends. I think if we can essentially say, if you do these workshops, if you do our courses, then you will legitimately have an opportunity to be in our movies that we select from. Just in itself, hey, people that end up doing our film school end up having, X amount of people selected from each of those classes to work on our feature films. That is a very, very unique advantage. Now, here's what I will say. It will always be free for super fans. So that becomes a major, major perk of being a super fan. And it's probably going to be very, very low monetization. I'm talking like $20, $30, $40, but it can scale. And the reason I want to bring it up now is because if we're able to generate $20, $30, $40, $50,000 from the workshops, well, guess what, my friends? That's another movie. And eventually these workshops could potentially create a new pipeline for us to essentially have everyone involved in the workshop working on the movie, bringing out people to be PAs, bringing out people to be writers, bringing out more actors, bringing out people to be filmmakers, to be DPs. This expands and explodes the horizons away from just us cultivating actors mainly to cultivating all filmmaking. And through the workshops, if we're able to have a risk-free way of scaling up our production, well, then maybe we have multiple production teams. And maybe that means we have multiple filmmakers under the DBS umbrella. Now, again, I'm talking many moons and many years in the future, but it kind of all starts now. So what are kind of, your thoughts on that element? Because again, that's just another wing that we can then monetize and reward the community now for assisting in this process of making it happen.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of revenue that comes in goes right back into making more films, bringing on more people, cultivating, this awesome community that we have. None of this stuff is going back into either our pockets, and it'll continue that way until, we're really large. I do think having different production teams is going to be ideal. I'd love to have 4 releases a month. 1 a week would be absolutely fantastic. And at that point, we'd be up there with some large streaming platforms, which release movies every Friday. So, that's the goal. We do 52 movies in a year. I think that'd be really cool. And we're averaging 5 or 6 Discord roles, actors roles. You're looking at 300 to 400 a year. With this model, we'd probably have to roll with, probably 10 to 12 different production teams at that point. So, it can scale and it can grow very much. And like any kind of revenue or any kind of, the more launch team members, all this stuff comes back to just this flywheel effect of just getting DBS to make the biggest, the best, and the coolest movies out there. That's the vision. That's the goal. And we're going to find one super fan at a time to figure that out. We're going to find how to do that. We just got to find out where they hang out, and, we will find them, we'll reward them. And, I think we'll just continue to scale, but 2024 is going to be the year of the community. 2023 was production. We nailed that. I'm hoping next year at this time, I can say, hey, we got more than 1,000 reviews and purchases on our last release. We're in good shape. Let's keep making some movies.
Exactly that, my friends. So I would say overall, we were very excited. Again, thank you so much to everyone that supported us, and we will never forget the support that we're getting, especially now. That's going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. And, we got one more quarter. I look very, 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 very forward to being in January saying, hey, we did it. We executed, and now let's move forward and let's do this together. And as always, be sure to take a look at our movies online. Horror in the Forest is out there. Rent and review. Be part of that launch team, my friends. That's what we need. And more importantly, go ahead, take a look at our Discord community online, because we make movies for our fans, with our fans. If you got hyped up and you're excited about this, well, go ahead and join us. Be part of the action. The rocket ship's being fueled right now, and eventually it will blast off, and we are taking everyone with us, because again, the more we succeed, the more it allows us to provide these opportunities for everyone else to succeed with us. So until then, have a good one, my friends.